Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily news updates with Rita Kamkumo. Our top story today, Mali's former defense minister Ban Dao is appointed president of the transition. Congolese leader Félix Tshisekedi meets with his predecessor Joseph Kabila to address the tensions in the ruling coalition. Facebook plans to open a new office in Lagos, Nigeria, its second one on the continent. Our top story today, the head of the military junta that seized power in Mali last month made a major announcement on Monday after weeks of pressure from abroad for a quick handover to civilian rule.
At the end of this meeting on Monday, September 21st, 2020, the College appointed the following personalities as President and Vice President of the transition to ensure the implementation of the transition roadmap. President of the transition in Mali, Mr. Bando. Vice President of the transition, Colonel Assimi Goïta. The swearing-in ceremony will take place on Friday, September 25th, 2020.
Bamako residents reacted to the new president's nomination.
I am very happy that it is purely apolitical. He is also a career soldier, several times chief of staff, and has held high positions in the army. The fact that he studied in Russia opens the way to Russia too.
I would have liked us to choose a politician because Mali has been a democracy for almost 25 years. I think there are major actors who have the vision, who have the experience, and who really have the rigor to lead this transition. But it's a pity that we have seen. I think that there is basically no man for the situation in the country. There are men who can do things. There are personalities who are less divisive, and I think he is one of the least divisive personalities in the country. But really, the situation can only be resolved through a national awakening. Therefore, it will not be the president of the transition alone, but all the Malian political, civil and military actors to bring this transition to a successful conclusion. I'm not sure that Ba Ndao's nomination is the result of an hour of discussion. In my opinion, it's a process that should be much longer than the hour that is presented as the process. I think that in this process there are influential men who have been involved, and I think that ECOWAS must also have been involved in this process, even if it did not play a decisive role, but at least it had to be consulted.
Elle n'a pas joué un rôle décisif, elle a dû être au moins consultée.
According to a junta-backed roadmap, the new president is meant to lead the country for 18 months before holding elections and returning Mali to civilian rule. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, after months of tensions within the ruling coalition, President Félix Tshisekedi met with his predecessor, Joseph Kabila, on Sunday for fresh talks. Kabila supporters of the Common Front for Congo confirmed on Twitter on Monday that the duo met to discuss the progress of the coalition. However, both camps later told the press that the meeting did little to ease tensions and that points of contention remain. In Kenya, Chief Justice David Maraga on Monday advised President Uhuru Kenyatta to dissolve the country's parliament over its failure to achieve gender parity. The top judge argued that the current parliament has failed to meet a constitutional provision which states that women should occupy at least 1/3 of the parliamentary seats. Maraga further described the male-dominated parliament as discrimination against women who hold 22% of seats in the country's lower house of parliament and 31% in the upper house. The Speaker of Parliament, Justin Muturi, said the dissolution of Parliament is an unrealistic option. The government is yet to comment on Maraga's advisory. On the judiciary front, 4 Cameroonian soldiers were sentenced to 10 years in prison by a military court on Monday for shooting dead 2 women and their children in 2015. A video posted on social media in 2018 revealed the shooting of the 4 victims. However, the footage was first dismissed by the government, describing it as fake news. But after Amnesty International provided evidence, 7 soldiers were later arrested.
There were 7 soldiers involved. We just saw that 4 soldiers were allegedly sentenced to 10 years in prison. The other 3, we don't know. That's the first thing. The second thing, nothing has been mentioned about compensation for the families of the victims.
2 of the 7 soldiers were later acquitted. 1 soldier was sentenced to 2 years in prison, while the 3 other soldiers, along with their captain, were found guilty of murder and were sentenced to a decade in jail.
A 10-year prison sentence is not only weak, it's insignificant. It's not only insignificant, but it's insignificant because those who get 10 years are not, in fact, those who ordered the murders.
All soldiers had pleaded not guilty about a year ago.
We should not forget a legal provision in our procedural code which states that the allegations of one co-accused against another can only be valid if they are confronted by other evidence. It is for this reason that we believe that there was at the very least some doubt.
The killings took place in Sylvestre, in the far north region, where soldiers have been deployed to fight Boko Haram jihadists perpetrating attacks from neighboring Nigeria. Facebook on Monday announced its plans to open a new office in Nigeria's technology capital, Lagos. It will be the company's second office on the continent since it opened one in 2015 in Johannesburg, South Africa. The Lagos office will host teams specialized in engineering, sales, politics, and communications. The American company said its objective is to develop made-in-Africa products for Africans and the rest of the world. While international companies open offices in Africa, big firms on the continent are looking for new technologies and opportunities abroad for growth, such as Kenya's telecoms giant Safaricom.
The next growth horizon will come from combining technology and innovation. We want to move away from being a telecom business into a purpose-led technology company. That will mean that we use technology to create change in other ecosystems in the same way that we've done with M-Pesa in the financial services area.
Safaricom's successful mobile money service M-Pesa, launched in 2007, has since become indispensable in Kenya.
We are looking at expanding M-Pesa beyond Kenya. We've already expressed interest to enter Ethiopia, and we are going through that process. Hopefully, if we get in there, we will continue to accelerate growth. More globally, we are looking at partnering with others so that M-Pesa becomes the partner of choice for others, including Visa and PayPal. We've signed many partnerships across the world. Data is the next growth horizon for Safaricom as voice slows down. We expect that data will enable social and economic empowerment of our population. There are 2 ways of ensuring that we grow data. There are 3 ways of ensuring that we grow data. The first is to make sure the network is available. So by the end of this year, we'll have 100% 4G coverage. And 4G is critical to enable a better internet user experience for our customers.
The ambitious CEO sees the coronavirus pandemic as a tool for growth.
We've seen the importance of connectivity and the importance of driving financial inclusion during COVID, and we can use that as a way of connecting those ecosystems and continue to grow the business.
The company, founded in 1997, is the largest telecommunications provider in Kenya and one of the most profitable companies in the East and Central Africa region. On the environmental front, residents of Mauritania's capital city, Nouakchott, on Sunday were submerged by floods after torrential overnight rains.
The roads were flooded. There are no more taxis. People are no longer able to reach their workplaces. We are there, sitting, doing nothing.
The floods left entire neighborhoods isolated and made driving impossible despite pumps being activated during the night to empty the streets.
Here, look at the water. This is the water that came to our door and entered our room. The state must find a solution to the water. This year, a lot of water has fallen here.
President Mohamed El Ghazouani, who recently visited the cities of Basiknou and Adelbegru, reported to have been badly affected by recent floods, has set up an emergency response unit and vowed to repair the damages caused in both cities, according to the Mauritanian news agency. Botswana on Monday addressed the mysterious death of hundreds of elephants in the famous Okavango Delta region, ending months of speculation.
There is absolutely no reason to believe that there was human involvement in these mortalities. What is clear is that there was these the pens were clearly the focus of the mortalities.
According to the Wildlife Department, the animal's death was caused by a bacteria.
We took tests. The tests show that there were these cyanobacteria which potentially could produce some of these toxins which are known to affect wildlife and also livestock. So this is not a phenomenon that was just seen now. It is something that happens quite a lot when there are these environmental changes. So at this point in time, we certainly cannot talk about any human involvement.
Species, we know the elephant to really be the only animal, for example, that is drinking below the surface of the water. And where the depth is a challenge, it clearly shows the possibility of this species being able to suck the silt, which is really where the growth of this cyanobacteria is, majority of the time that involved.
Over 300 elephants perished since March in Botswana, that holds the world's largest elephant population, estimated at around 130,000. The authorities vowed to monitor the situation and to implement measures to prevent further mortalities. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.